Hello, gorgeous Taurus, and welcome to your June 2019 reading. We are here in this sacred space together. I'm sure you have been feeling the revolutionary waves coming into our space with Uranus in your sign. Culturally, collectively, we are feeling it, and I'm sure as individuals you are feeling it as well, each in your own unique ways. June has a really special energy to it, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's solstice time. So every June we have this beautiful solstice where the earth and its tilt, we have a conversation with the sun, and we have a reset, and we have a reinvestigation of anything, of where we have come since the last solstice during December, and where we want to take the second half of the year. And what I've really been focusing on with the readings, and what I want to focus on with you today, is how to recalibrate and how to balance out, yes, the Taurus energy that you work with and you use naturally, and how you can utilize that, and then also how you can balance it out with other energies in your field. So I wrote a note for you kind of with this solstice energy in mind. And it is that it is to go for it. It is to state what you want. It is to take decisive action and embrace your voice and your talents and your gifts and the space you want to take. You know, you've done a lot of integrating and healing. You've done a lot of like patient paying attention and going in and being quiet and being observant, right? You've done all of that. We've had lots of conversations where that has been a big theme in the thread of the conversation. And as this June comes in, and as we have all this energy moving into Gemini, into your neighboring sign of Gemini, and then further on into Cancer, we're working more and more with what that looks and feels like to you. You know, new moon in Gemini in your house of value, Emperor, strong personality coming right out, right? You're ruled by Venus, and Venus moves from your sign a week into June and moves into Gemini on June 9th, after a new moon in Gemini and after Mercury has moved into Cancer. Your ruling planet of Venus is going through a bit of a revolution in how she moves and acts, right? Going through Mercury means she's going to express opinions. Three of Pentacles, beautiful. Working well together, working with vision, with integrity, with forward focus. The number of flow, right? Three of Pentacles is fantastic for feeling that you're in the flow, that things are moving for you. Four of Swords, integration. Okay. We have a full moon in Sagittarius. And for you, this is going to be a very powerful full moon. Your relationship to Sagittarius is very interesting. If you're a Taurus rising, this is going to be 8th house action as far as the full moon. And it's a time to shed a skin. It's time to transform. It's time to re-envision yourself in new ways and embrace yourself in new ways than you are. Hierophant, there is one of your cards. And the Hierophant, when it shows up, especially right now with Uranus being in that sign, we are toppling what has been established, right, as the status quo. We're toppling what it has meant for power systems and for typical day-to-day routines to what they are meaning. And there's a lot of revolution going on there. So when Hierophant shows up, we are having a direct conversation with old established patterns. And being a fixed sign, one of the challenges is to find a way to be more mutable and more cardinal in our energies. 8 of Pentacles. Beautiful. That card's been coming out a lot. There's a lot of people we're all kind of working at our crafts. We're all kind of working at who we're going to be. Temperance. There is that Sag moon that is happening on the 17th. Right before we hit into solstice season. So like I said, there's an energy here going on for you of industrious focus. Honestly, all these cards have this very focused, intent clarity to them. Hermit. One more, and then I think we will talk through these cards and what they are telling me about this process. The moon wanted to come out. Okay. So you have 2 layers as usual, right? I feel like so often it's this dualism between the hidden, unseen, energetic work we do, and then how we present that, how we let that channel through and move through the external world. And, you know, being ruled by Venus and being a fixed sign, you have naturally the ability to kind of see around you, see how to create, and also how to kind of observe. So for you, balancing out has a lot to do with taking all that good energy that you utilize with your Venusian infusion of energy and transmuting it into more of the masculine, making things happen, right? So we start off with the Emperor. Your neighboring sign of Aries is often represented by the Emperor card. But the thing with the Emperor is he's an initiator, right? He is the dad figure and the ultimate leader, right? In the reputation kind of way where it's like, I'm owning this space. This is the space that I will fill. And there's this directional focus and intent with the Emperor. It is about divine masculinity. And when it's unhealthy, of course, it's very bossy, demanding, rigid, unrelenting, kind of doesn't see other people's points of view. When it's healthy, it is decisive, clear-headed, focused, driven, consistent. And I think, you know, if you're dealing with Emperor energy, pay attention to the differences there. Are you dealing with energy that is controlling and rigid, or are dealing with energy that is consistent and visionary? Now, this is also about you stepping into this role, right? The Emperor is not just about somebody around you. It's about embracing this part of yourself that you are, you know, captain, my captain, you know, you are the captain of your soul. You are the captain of your ship, and are you steering it in ways that you want? Now, you have to be the one who steps in and says that, yes, you are. And that includes nurturing yourself. It doesn't just mean sucking it up and moving forward and acting on things. It means a really genuine sense of self-fathering, right? Now, you have a lot of support here. I have to tell you, you have a lot of energetic support going on with you within this mission of becoming Emperor energy, because the Three of Pentacles is telling me there's a lot of co-creative energy with you. There are a lot of people and energies and spaces that are going to be coming in. You know, the Three of Pentacles is really fantastic for that sense of flow. You know, we always want to be in the flow where it's just like, it just seems like everything's lining up and the right things are showing up at the right time and the right people and the right locations. Well, the Three of Pentacles is that energy of ease and flow. It's also that energy of when you have a couple people around you who have a shared vision and can see it along with you and know how to connect the dots. Now, for you, this month, these two cards I think represent a beautiful combination of what you want to kind of connect in with. Three of Pentacles is going to be that connected, social, creative, flow, all the elements moving through quickly energy. And the Four of Swords is going to be your rest card. The Four of Swords means there's something that's really important that needs to be integrated. You know, messages and knowing and information can only come in when we have that rest, when we have those moments of pure quiet. It's why you hear so much about meditation being the ultimate tool to help life feel more supportive and calming to you. It's because the more we can kind of rest into that, the more we can incorporate it into our weekly lives before we burn out, before we feel frustrated, before we feel lost, the more we are able to actually perceive this Three of Pentacles and our big destiny, and the more we are able to enjoy the moment. So you have that dualism going on now. Here's what's interesting. The Hierophant, yes, it is a Taurus card. It's associated with Taurus, but it's also associated with the establishment and with the old ways of doing things. And like I said, there is a challenge, and some of these top cards at the top that we're going to be talking about, the next 4 cards after the Hierophant, we're going to be talking about the fact that old routines, old habits, old patterns when it comes to relationship, when it comes to routines, when it comes to thoughts, when it comes to habits, need to be shifted, and you're going to be feeling that. You're going to be feeling that revolution going on in your world. Now, you can have that stability. You can have great partnership with the Hierophant energy here. It does tell me that there is that sense of balance and that sense of stability. However, the one thing that you want to be aware of is, are you repeating cycles? And if you are, that's okay. You're being set up to be given tools to proactively act in new ways, act in new lenses that reflect who you are now and not who you thought you were even 3 months ago. The thing to focus on here, right, is your own authentic value. You guys are creators. You are inventive and artistically inclined, and you know this card is very positive for you feeling that you're in that groove of doing and creating what you love and mastering some new skill sets. Now, here's the thing with the Eight of Pentacles. It's about, the story here is an apprentice who becomes a master. And the way that he becomes this master is all this practice. Right? He's now on his 8th pentacle, and he's learned how to make these so perfectly that, you know, if somebody came in and ordered 10 of them, he'd be ready to go. But you know, it's not about actually practically building things. Of course it can be. If you're working on a craft, if you're working in a job, if you're working in a situation where you want that financial stability, or you want that feeling that you've made the success, that you've gotten the promotion, this is great energy for that. But the big thing with this is also, even new thought patterns, new habits around people require practice. They require showing kind of up to the mat and trying a few times before you really get mastery of a new skill set when it comes to how you move through the world. And for you, that mastery and that skill set has everything to do with these 3 major arcana cards that came out for you: Temperance, Hermit, and the Moon. Now, what's really interesting about these 2 are actually associated with mutable signs, Sagittarius and Virgo. And the Moon is, of course, associated with Cancer. So any of those energies could be working around you. However, there's something deeper going on here, because if there's one thing that you can kind of notice about all 3 of these cards, they're deeply spiritual. They are esoteric. They are hidden energy, especially the Hermit and the Moon. But let's start with Temperance. Tempering the fire. Here's the thing. You're going to want to burn down who you've been in the past. You're going to want to burn down what's held you back in the past and just focus on building up this new hot bonfire of life and being so determined in it that it's hot. But the Temperance card is always this reminder that that fire can get so hot that it singes you, that it actually ends up burning you and slowing you down. This divine wisdom has a lot to do with alchemy and the idea of stripping the parts, taking something apart, gently and nurturingly purifying each of the elements and putting them back together in a new whole. And that is a lot of what has been going on with you. And in that process, you temper that desire to be in extremes, the extreme of fire, the extreme of icing somebody out, the extreme of trying to have control, or the extreme of letting other people walk all over you, right? It's this fine balance of you holding a center point, and it's done through this esoteric practice, energetic practice that is unseen by most people. And it can only be practiced over time. It takes some time to get really good at this temperance process. To be warm, to be that bonfire without singeing yourself. But you're being asked to trust your intuition in every action you take this month. You are being asked to trust your deepest wisdom. There are going to be lots of temptations to analyze, to justify, to let somebody off the hook because, well, it makes sense because this happened to them at this point in their lives, or it makes sense because this is really hard for somebody, or maybe I should overthink this. But your gut, your heart, your soul knows better. It's always known. And I'm sure you could list out dozens of times that your intuition was telling you something and you overrode it, feeling that you needed to take a role in that experience or take up some of the burden from somebody else. And then it ended up being exactly what your gut felt. And then you felt tired, and then you judged yourself because you felt like you should have been better. And there's no need for judgment, right? There's no need for judgment here. But there is a call here for you to trust your intuition with the people and the situations coming into your fold. Now, honestly, all 8 of these cards are really positive. They're beautiful. They have everything to do with healing, integration, building, feeling industrious, feeling clear-headed, feeling visionary, feeling balanced, feeling healthy. But true healing sometimes comes from this visionary energy, right? We do all this deep healing inside, and then as we are able to express that externally as a version of ourselves, as this new iteration of ourselves, that's when the last stage of healing from something comes in. Now, we're always going to be healing. Our life is a healing journey. The whole point is to heal our connection to our bodies, to spirit, and to source. Our cells are constantly replacing themselves. We're always on a healing journey. And I think it's so empowering to realize that, and to realize that your healing doesn't mean it takes you out of the game and it puts you in a back room where you have to wait for life to happen. Your healing is an amazing part of the whole process. And as you listen more and more to that, you are going to act more and more in accordance with who you really are. Now, I have a little toast for you guys today. A little solstice toast, because the magic of the solstice is this midway point, this death and rebirth energy, this shift out energy that does occur. So I wanted to give you a little toast for the month of June as we pass through a very magical time of year. May the wild road open up abundant with flowers and love and vibrant, bright sunrises. May a way of peace and support open up for you. May you feel the golden blessing of having gone into the storm and come out more vibrant and radiant every day. Cheers. That's a little sparkling water, by the way. So, with that being said, I'm sending you with so much love and excitement for this balanced, committed, focused, driven month full of power and healing. I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm wearing my favorite Taurus's jewelry right now. This is the Purple Majesty crown. She's got a couple crowns up on the site, and there's more to come, so I would highly recommend, if you're wanting one of these, get on it, because there are such a limited number of crowns, and this is one of a kind. This one right here, the Purple Majesty. So it's onyx and amethyst, and it is powerful. I know that this was crafted while she was sitting in a thunderstorm, so it's got a lot of power in it. I'm sending you guys so much love. You can find me on Instagram at SarahVerba, or on my website or my email. I'm going to leave all that good stuff in the description box. Also, if you haven't had a chance, go ahead and grab your mid-year magical intuitive guide, magical mid-year intuitive guide, because it's really helpful if you're still curious about what the next 3 months or so is going to bring about as far as those deeper transits, those more hidden transits. So I'd highly recommend that. Please like and subscribe. It really means a lot for you guys to be here, and it really helps me out as well. So all of those things, I'll leave all the goodies in the description box. I love you guys so much. I will see you for July's reading. Have a beautiful June, my friends.